Everything is changing, growing, and evolving, even you. From the nurse's student to the baby nurse, off the bedside nurse and into entrepreneurship, you have evolved. So now we're here at the Evolved Nurse Podcast. I'm your host, Keisha, and let's get right into the episode. So, today we have a different episode. Welcome to Bridging the Gap, where I speak to people from other areas in healthcare that not only will nurses pivot into during their paths to higher education, but it allows us to see here from a different perspective so that we can serve our patients. With that being said, I'd like to kick this episode off with one of my cousin's best friends, one of the most resilient people I know. While she has had several obstacles in her way, she made it to her destination, made her dreams and goals into reality. Her journey to her profession was not linear, but she pivoted however many times it took to get there. Welcome to the Evolve Nurse Podcast, Shameka White, PAC, not the S, PAC.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. You know, I've been wanting you to get on here. And so hopefully, because she is new to the profession, hopefully later on we'll be able to get her back here so that she could talk about her experience as a PA.
Call me, beat me if you want to reach me.
Of course, of course. But so just like on the Evolve Nurse podcast, our standard series, I'm going to ask you, did you always want to be a PA?
No, I didn't always want to be a PA. When I was a kid, I thought about being a lawyer. Didn't really have a reason. I was just like, it'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of fell out of that, and then I was interested in becoming a real estate agent.
Okay.
I let Lifetime scare me away from that.
I already know the storyline you're talking about. Real estate agent and wife fight it out over this man.
Or being abducted
Stop.
from a showing. I was like, no. But then when I got into high school, I became interested in healthcare. And then when I got into undergrad, I learned about the PA profession from my advisor. Well, he was actually just one of my professors, but we formed a relationship, and then he told me to look into the PA profession because I wasn't exactly sure what career path I wanted to take in healthcare. So, shout out to Dr. Holtz.
Yeah, rest in peace, Holtz. The
Rest in
greatest to
peace,
ever do
Holtz.
it.
Rest in peace, Holtz.
He did. He always made sure that we kind of knew what path we were going to take, and he always offered options. Everybody didn't always do that for us.
Right.
Okay. So from that point where Dr. Holtz let you know that it's this thing out here, if you want to go to med school, but you don't quite want to go to med school, it's a middle point that you could go to. You can be a PA. How did you navigate getting there?
So me and you, we used to do some research together. We used to be researching. We were researching the profession, and just digging things up. Showing each other what we found, and we got down to tweaking our resumes. Not really tweaking it, but completing our resumes up to the point we haven't gotten our biology degrees yet, and we were like, okay, we got to go get it. Our dean, he was trying to push research on us, which research isn't bad, but it's not required for PA school. At this moment, we didn't have any healthcare experience. We didn't have any shadowing hours, and research wasn't going to be
our end all be all, our end to get into PA school. So you're hearing Shameka talk about our journey to PA school. So I didn't end up being a PA. I'm a nurse. But yes, we were going on this PA school journey together.
Yeah.
We took our GREs.
Yes.
We went to several colleges and
Yeah.
Like, we were looking at housing and everything. So I was definitely on my way to be a PA. I just happened to pivot because I found a woman who had her DNP, and the way that she had relationships with her patients, that piqued my interest.
Mm-hmm.
She actually gave me the kinda a blueprint of going through nursing school. So she was like, I'll write you your letter of recommendation. You can go to the school that I teach at, go ahead and put in your stuff, and you can go this route. So because she offered me that, and I didn't have a lot of resources in figuring out how to navigate PA school, because we were kind of figuring it out together.
Yeah, we were.
And so we didn't have like the resources. Our school wasn't allowing us to deviate from research. Like, they were really pushing a research narrative onto us, which we didn't mind because we kind of enjoyed being in the lab. But at the same time, that wasn't where our heart was.
Right.
So we just had to get out there and do it ourselves. So a lot of times you'll see yourself having to put in the work. Cause some of these schools, they're just not gonna put in the work that you need to get to where you want to be. So if you're anything like us and you're seeing that a school that offers a pre-med degree should also have all of these resources, but they don't.
Right. And let's, what Keisha is saying right now is correct, but let's clarify. We're not saying that the school wasn't supportive of us. We had a lot of professors
Mhm.
that were standing behind us. Even until this day, I can reach out to uh,
Several of them.
yeah, several of them, and then they're gonna be like, yeah, anything you need, and they've been here the
Mhm.
entire time, from letters of recommendation for when I went to EMT school, even when I applied for PA school, and it's been maybe what 5, 6 years after graduating undergrad.
Girl, I don't know how they
Mm.
pull from what we did way back then.
But
They
when
have the recommendation letters on standby.
but when you're a keen student,
When you are a keen mind.
you're keen and you're studious, they're gonna remember you. They're gonna remember.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, yes, we had professors who were definitely in our corner. We're
mm,
I'm specifically talking about our administrative staff, so our deans and people who have the ability to put programs in place for us.
right,
They didn't have those for people who wanted to go into healthcare. So hopefully they have, since they've started the club that they have there, but hopefully they are going in the direction to offer avenues that make it a little bit easier for people to navigate going into healthcare, because of course it's a biology degree.
right,
We came here for a reason.
right.
So you spoke about being an EMT.
Uh huh.
So we're going to talk about the period before that.
Okay.
What led you to say, I think that being an EMT will help me get to where I need to be?
Um. So the period before that, so I was job shadowing. Got my resume, went to different doctors' offices, the education departments at the local hospitals,
Mhm.
and basically just told them, who I am, what I'm currently doing right now, what are my plans, and I hope to, you know, shadow one of their providers, preferably a PA, but I've also shadowed a nurse practitioner. I've also shadowed an
Doctors.
MD as well, but mostly there
Mhm.
were PAs. So I did that during my final year of undergrad. Um, and then in the summertime, well, I wanted to work as a medical assistant or a nurse extender at the hospital, but they weren't hiring me on. I
Girl,
went
it was
to
so hard.
it was hard at the hiring event. They said you're too qualified, and I
They're
was
like, they look at, "Oh, you're in school for biology or you have a bachelor's in biology."
yeah.
No. It was super hard to try to get a job in that area. Luckily, I went to a nursing home when I had no experience. So I had a
Hmm.
little bit of like I had the a right amount of shadowing hours that I didn't have to go back and figure out shadowing hours.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. Cause
But
it was scratching
girl,
way out there, trying to get a like hire me, please.
yeah, it still was super hard because even though I didn't want I didn't need the hours, I was still trying to find a job in the field.
Right,
And they were just not hiring us. And we see all these positions, but it was super hard.
right. They just said you're receiving your bachelor's degree in a couple of months.
You're not gonna be here for
They
long.
they've even tried to put me in the lab. I said I don't want the lab. Like,
They say, you go to this school. We know they're really big on research. We know that their students are keen, man. We know
yeah,
that. So let's go put them in the lab. Histology, here you go. Pathology, here you go.
right. And I was just like, okay. So I started actually working as a pharmacy technician at CVS,
Hmm.
and not I knew that would help me get like a basic understanding of pharmacology, and just to let people know, you do not have to go to school to be a pharmacy technician. I I got on the job training, and you can also get, do some courses with your employer and sit to take your certification exam.
Hmm.
I didn't sit for my certification exam because I knew I wasn't going to be there forever. Just for those who are listening, thinking that you have to go to school to be a farm tech, you don't have to. Um, unless there's
Okay.
another, I guess, maybe if there's more out there. But for the I was just doing the basic of the basics of the farm tech. Um, but going forward, I started just looking into different ways I can get direct patient care experience. They schools, different programs appreciate the farm tech background that I had, but it's the patient care experience that I needed. Um, I,
So quick,
hmm
quick question.
hmm
Did you get half hours for that?
It depends on the program. The
Mhm.
program that I got accepted into, no, I didn't get half hours for, but I think it was it University of Florida at the time.
UF was giving
Was giving.
half hours. So what half hours are is you have patient care experience in some realm. So for instance, like even medical scribes, if you're sitting down and you're taking notes for a doctor, they'll give you half hours.
hmm
That means that whenever you're going to apply for school, they might want 14, was it 1400 hours? I feel like it was
it depends on the program.
the
Some
program.
some say two. I've seen between 100 and 2,000.
So whatever amount of patient care experience you have to get that amount of hours. But there are some professions that they're like, you're dealing with patients, you might not be giving them direct care, but you're getting a grasp of like being around them,
Mhm.
understanding what you're doing. So they may give you half hours.
Right.
Okay, you can keep going. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's your show. So I, ooh, where was I?
Farm tech.
Okay, so while I was working as a farm tech, I applied to EMT school.
Hmm.
And the thing was, I just completed 4 years. Well, actually, it took me 5 years to get my undergrad degree. But I completed my 4 year degree, and I was like, I don't want to do, go to school for umpteen years to get
Hmm.
something else that I knew that was going to be a stepping stone. So I was like, okay, let me look into EMT school. I saw that EMT school, um, that I would get, basically be done in a full year. Well, it also depends on what you're doing. There's basic EMT, there's advanced, and there's paramedic. I got my advanced. So that was a full year, and I was able to learn a lot. I like the rawness of it. I like that I was outside.
The doors.
outside, out the doors. I liked it. There's always, pros and cons and trade offs. To be honest, like you don't get paid much as an EMT, but I was living in South Georgia, single, no kids. So I was able to, support myself very well and also save money for PA school. Pay wasn't my thing. Now I wasn't sitting up here I wasn't allow anyone to, cheat me. Of course I looked around and see like what everybody was getting paid, but it was
You
good.
have to go where the money reside. Where the money
Money
reside?
reside,
Where the
where
money
money
reside?
reside.
Yes, and we were also roommates, so that saved us a lot of money
Oh
getting
yeah.
through like our I would say secondary degree because yes, it's not like a clear secondary degree EMT, but that's what you used it as. It's would you consider it a secondary degree?
Pell Grant said otherwise.
Okay.
No, they weren't trying to pay for it in my EMT school because I already had a bachelor's degree, so I had to come out of pocket for that one.
Okay, okay, okay.
But it
So,
wasn't expensive though because it's at a tech school, a vocational, school,
mhm.
and it wasn't as expensive.
And so like she's saying, like we spend a lot of money in school, which isn't a huge issue because you can go
Hmm.
get scholarships, you can
Right.
seek out your Pell Grant, you can if you're in high school and you're coming into school, you can make really good grades and you can go to school for free. But you have to start now
Hmm.
because applying for school and then like trying to backtrack and get scholarships, that's a little bit hard because that's kind of what I did. Then I lost my Hope Scholarship. So you have to be persistent. You have to stay on top of things. But you can essentially go to school for free
Yeah.
if you're actually looking at your resources. So Shameka does that a lot.
We're looking at resources.
Girl, yes, you are the resource finder.
At,
Or people, you find community that
yeah.
helps you find resources. And that's important too.
Yeah, it's not always about what you know, it's about who you know because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of times I feel like I've lucked up because I just ran into the right person or connected with the right person or the right group. So I try to do the same for people. Catch me in Ross. I was giving a I was giving a teenager the scholarship information. I said, "What you going to school for?" Tell him I said, "Oh, listen to this." I said they pay for
Girl.
your food and send you a stipend.
Look, I love it because anytime we go somewhere, if somebody asking us a question, we'll stop it. Drop everything. Craig's in trouble. We will drop everything that we doing and we give it them like the whole spiel.
Yeah.
Last night I was at work and the girl was like, "Oh, are you a scrub tech?" And I was like, "No, I'm the charge nurse." She was like, "Really? I thought you were a scrub." I said, "No, I'm not a scrub." She said, "Okay, so how did you get here?" And I don't want to be a nurse, but um how did you get here? And so like I told her everything and I was like, what do you want to do? Because at when I saw her, she's janitorial staff, but she doesn't want to be there for long. And
Hmm.
I'm like giving her all the resources. I'm like, you can go here, you can do this, it's jobs here, here, and here. And she was like, I'm so sorry for calling you a scrub tech. I'm like, it's okay. I'm not offended at all.
Right. Right.
But it's
It's
our duties. Well, I not everybody is going to give you the resources or they're not going to want to talk to you about it. But when you find people that do, try to get them for all the information that they have.
right. That's some everything. Like don't be shocked. Sometimes we feel like, we're a burden or we're annoying them.
Mhm.
Just, stick with it and I mean, of course respect their time because there's no telling what else they're doing, but ask your questions. A lot of people more than happy to help. More than
Yes.
happy to help. And you could be a complete stranger, but because you're interested in that profession, and if they truly enjoy that profession or they love it or they want to see, other people, achieve their goals, they're gonna put you on.
Yes. They'll give you the things that you need and then if they don't know, like we put people in contact with other people who knew more
Mhm.
than what we know. Just because I don't want to give you the wrong information, but I know somebody that probably knows this stuff.
Right, and if they don't know, they know somebody that know.
They know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody.
Body.
Yes, so you went from biology, a 5 year, you spent 5 years, I spent 5 years as well. So it's no
Mhm.
shame in spending your time in school. It's a journey, it's not a race.
Right.
You went to farm tech, pivoted into EMT school, and
Mhm.
then you was out here in the field learning, and I mean, you learned so much. I remember all the things you used to come home and talk to us about. And then here comes the time that it's time to apply for PA school.
Yes.
What did that look like for you?
It was to start off, I was just real nervous just to even open it up.
Mhm.
It's called CASPA, so it's the central application portal, and for PAs, and it's it's lengthy. It's very lengthy.
Mhm.
So my advice to anyone, that's applying for PA school, or anything, because you know, a lot of these professions, to get into school, you have to go through certain application portals, and some of them you have to also do supplemental applications directly through the school. But do your research. Google. That's what Google is here for. YouTube. There are several people on YouTube that I used to watch when it came down to even the simplest things, to like maneuvering through CASPA. Even like how long will it take? How soon should I start? I can't remember how soon I started. I was not asking, but I was typing in those different questions so I could have an idea. You never want to start at the last minute. When it opens up, you go ahead and open it up and fill out what you can, and then you go in and you know fill in the blanks. But it it was a lot. So you have on Casper, you have to put um, a resume up there. You have to put a personal statement. Of course, like your demographics, so like your name and all like your personal info, where you're from. You have to also put in things about like your education. A lot of things that you will find on your resume, you have to put it on your CASPA separately. You have to include like your shadowing hours, your direct patient care experience hours, um, letters of recommendation, your transcript, program, and I can't remember because it hasn't been that long, but it's been a minute. Each I think about an additional $50 to add to your CASPA. It may have changed now, but you have an initial fee, and then you add, based on how many programs that you add onto that application, is how much more you have to pay. It tells you like the program's deadlines. It gives you the mission statements, how long the you will be in school for each program. It gives you all the prerequisites that you would need for that program. So that's a good way to kind of see like whether or not you were eligible to apply for that program. And now, for instance, I was going to apply to a program, but they required me to have a sociology course. I didn't have that, and I wasn't going to go back and take a sociology course, so I just removed it from the application. But it's pretty lengthy. My recommendation would be to break things down. I guess like create like a schedule or like a to-do list over a course of several weeks, and list a few things that you want to get done on that application so that you don't feel overwhelmed. And they also have essays, like smaller essays that you can put in on the application as well. But it's lengthy, but you'll get through it.
Yeah. It is so long. Oh my goodness, I remember it. It was very it became a very daunting task.
Mhm.
But you always have to remember your why, and you always have to be like, "You know what? If I don't do this, I'm not going to school." That's
True.
just the reality. If you don't finish it, you're just not going to school, and it would be times where I would pick up my computer, fill out all the sections, put the transcript stuff in, and start breathing hard.
Yeah.
Because why do I have to put all of this stuff in here?
Be hyperventilating. But
Yes, but you did that,
did.
and you started applying for schools.
Mm-hmm.
How was that process for you?
Applying was mostly through CASPA. There were a few that had the supplemental applications.
Mhm.
Maybe like one or two that didn't go through CASPA. So that was okay. It was more of like trying to time things appropriately because everyone's um, application cycle opened up differently. The programs, so they opened and they closed at different times, and you kind of have to play with those dates. Some of them start in January, some of them start in June. So those are some things you just have to play with. And then after you hit submit, it's really the waiting game. They also have rolling admissions for some. Um, I may have applied to rolling admissions, but I didn't take it as serious as I should have. I was just, I was kind of busy. But
And for those
that's not an excuse. It's not an excuse.
it's it's never an excuse.
Yeah.
For those who are listening, what is rolling admissions?
So rolling admissions, is it something you can consider like an early decision thing? It's like as you apply, they're taking they're pushing out interviews as like you're submitting your applications. It's not that. So let's say what's today?
It's
It's
not like a waiting game.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to really wait as much. So let's just say that July 1st was the end of was the application deadline. If I would have submitted an application, 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago,
Mm,
I could have already been invited for an interview instead of having to wait till after July.
got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
I don't know a simpler way of saying this. I just had to kind of demonstrate.
It's okay. It's okay. So you put in your applications, and
Hmm.
then you hear back from your schools.
Yeah.
You get into a school.
I was waitlisting.
Ooh,
Yeah, I can't remember how many programs I applied to. I want to say it was maybe it was somewhere between 7 and 12. Yes, it's kind of a big gap, but I just don't remember to be honest.
it's
I
okay.
I think it was like 7 to 12 programs that I applied to, and I was shut down by a lot of them before the application deadline reached for one of the schools in Florida. They said, "Nah, Shameka." I said, "All right." I just kept going. But I received two interviews. They denied me after interview, and then they gave me the wait list. They put me on the wait
Mhm.
list, and then I think that was around holiday season of 2020. I was waitlisted, and then April the 1st, 2021. I remember this because one is one of my brother's birthday. Two is April Fool's Day.
Thought it was playing tricks on me.
I thought they were. Like, I refreshed so many times. But April the 1st, 2021, I was removed from the wait list to the acceptance list.
Mm.
Yeah. I was driving in traffic
Girl,
and I was headed to the workplace to try to do something else with my life.
girl, yes. Please don't text to drive. Don't read the emails and drive.
Oh, sorry, y'all.
But no, no, when you see that email, it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta read it right now. If y'all have to read it right now, pull over.
I did not. I was at the train track.
So she was stopped.
I was rolling.
Y'all, just do better than what she did.
Yeah. I do not encourage this at all.
She does not, and I do not. But so you're removed from the wait list. I remember how you felt, girl. You were super excited.
Yeah.
Um, so now we're at the point where you have been accepted.
Mhm.
So that means now you have to uproot the life that you have now,
Yes.
and you have to become a student again. Mind you, you've started working, you're in the
Mhm.
workforce, you're figuring out life, and you're getting it out the mud because it's not easy.
It's
And you
not.
had many late nights. You picked up like a whole bunch of overtime, so you were always on the road.
Mhm.
And now you have to go from being a working girl to being a student girl.
Yeah.
How was the process into transitioning from working? Because that's always hard. From working and making money to now having to be a student and possibly not be able to work.
I was excited, but it's also nervous at the same time because like you said, I knew that I wasn't going to be working. I saved up money to put towards like moving,
Mhm.
but it was a bit rough when I got there because I was having to push out more money than I expected. So my family, they stepped in and they helped, supported me for a bit. So I really do appreciate them. But the moving thing was like no issues like that. I was ready to go. I told
Mhm.
you I was on my way to the workplace and I was like, oh, I was coming to do this. I said, on my way here, I got accepted into PA school. So this is my official notice right here. I said, I have a form. I have a piece of paper to you in no time. But
You want me to write it down or you want me to type it?
just typed it up. I said, here you go. I said, I'm going to tell you right now. I said, so that you don't be surprised when it comes. Um, but it was good. We had a group me, but we still do. And I joined the group me. I found the group me on our forum, because there are different forums out there. So I got into the group me, and one girl who is actually also now one of my best friends, met her in PA school, and you met her
Mhm,
at
mhm.
lunch. She put me on. She put me on. She was like, she caught me up. I mentioned I was on the wait list, so she caught me up. I was moving in a month and a half after getting accepted. So she told me, "Hey, um, go ahead and complete your FAFSA. Go ahead and apply for this Chick-fil-A scholarship. It helps out with the housing that's across the street. There's apartments, and you could get your. They're offering it to the School of Medicine students so that you don't have to pay as much in rent." So I was like, "Bet." And then she also told me about a scholarship program that basically pays for all of my eligible tuition and fees, and they also sent me a monthly stipend.
Mm.
Yep. So she put me on.
Shout out to Nisi.
Shout out to Olenes. Shout out. We
Shout
appreciate
out to
you, girl.
Nisi.
We
Cause
appreciate you.
she definitely helped you to go to school. Did you go to school essentially free?
Basically, yeah. I mean, I still took
Hey,
loans to live, but I ain't have to pay that school from nothing. The school was paid,
the
but not
school
by
was
me.
paid.
But not by me.
Yes. So I just want students who are coming into this to know, like, find community wherever you can find it, because you never know where you will find people who will lead you to where you need to go. Because Shameka probably never knew getting into that group me would lead her to finding now one of her best friends, also somebody who gave her the resource
Mm-hmm.
when and wasn't gatekeeping them. We have a
Mm,
lot of people who feel like I can only have this scholarship. Well, they're offering 50. So it's okay to tell the next person, "Hey, this is what I'm doing right now. You should apply. It's working out for me. It may work out for you." So, what is a no? If you get a no, find another scholarship.
right. And then with this, all right, let me go ahead and say I am not official. I'm not a representative or anything of this scholarship program, but for anyone who is listening that is going to medical school, dental school, whether you're going to be a MD, DO, PA, MP, nurse, there may be some other things. There's a scholarship called, with this company, National Health Service Corps, NHSC, HRSA, go check them out. Read about it. I'm not going to give you all the details here because I might tell you something wrong. But go check it out. I don't know if there's a way that, Keisha can link this with,
I will.
you know,
Mhm.
there'll be
I
a.
Any resource that she tells me about, I definitely will find it and link it in the description for you
Mhm.
because I know that it can be very hard. First of all, because as someone who had to figure out how to have a voice, I know sometimes it's hard to go up to people and ask them things.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, you got your scholarship, you
Mhm.
moved in, you got a friend, you might have several friends now,
Yeah.
and you have your first day of class. How was your experience overall during this? Because, like I said, your journey wasn't linear, and we see that you have pivoted, you have shaken the game up, you've done a lot of things in order to get to this very point.
My first day of class. Ooh, I don't even remember. We hit the ground. I think we hit the ground rolling. I think it depends on what day it fell on. Like if it was one of those shorter days, we kind of just had a syllabus day.
Mhm,
And then 'cause I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we started on a Thursday. So there was like, let's just, hit this, and then next week we're gonna hit the ground rolling. But there's also a class, and I don't remember which one specifically, but as soon as we came in, there was like, all right, we about to spend a little bit of time on this. You should have read it out already, but we about to go ahead and pull out the materials. No, just
mm.
like,
Not hitting us across the head already.
yeah. But it was tough starting off,
Mhm,
because you may have heard that going to PA school is like drinking out of a fire hose, like full
ooh,
blast, top speed, bazooka. It's it's very fast paced, and it's going to take some adjusting. And what worked for you in undergrad may not work for you while you're in this graduate program.
mhm,
Um, Even then, based on the unit that we were on, I've even switched my study style because what I did for unit 1 wasn't working for unit 2. So sometimes it
mhm,
just depends on how the material is presented to you, or the bulk of the material, or what the material actually is, because sometimes you just have to switch it up. And that's the thing, you have to learn how to constantly adjust. They all love the word being flexible. Other than when it comes to like time management and like schedules, like I think you do have to also be flexible when it comes to like studying.
mhm,
Um, don't expect to do the same thing every single time and it works. Now it may work for some people, but it doesn't work for everyone. Sometimes you have to trust the process. Does it always work out how
mm.
you want it to work out? But you learn from it and you keep it pushing. That's why you have advisors. That's why you have classmates. That's why you have, you know, just people to just talk to. And even other programs. Keisha mentioned communities, like finding communities. There are PA groups on Facebook. I'm in maybe about 3 or 4 of them. And you can go there and ask them for advice. So, people been there. You
You
just have
just
to
gotta
ask.
find them.
Yeah, you gotta find them. YouTube. They tell you different ways how they learn. How they learn to study for PA school, and they also recommended other resources as well. So yeah, but the transition, it was rough. It was a bit rough. My first 2 exams were not cute at all. And I had a breakdown, and I had a breakdown in the bathroom. And one of the counselors just happened to be in the bathroom while I'm having my breakdown, and she just gave me a little talk. And I can't say from that day forward I was okay, but I was starting to become okay. So
And this is coming from somebody who graduated as an honor student. in our biology program. So you never really know what you're getting yourself into when you go into a different area. So
Right.
when you get those first like few not cute grades, it hits you really hard because you're like, hold on. I feel like I studied hard for this. Still kind of utilizing the study habits in which you had in your past degree.
Mhm.
But like she said, she pivoted, she changed some things. If she needed a change in the middle of studying, she did that in order to get to where she is now. And guess where she is? She is a PA.
Certified.
Certified PA.
One thing that I will say, don't dedicate your entire time to studying. That's not the way to live. It is not. And you're gonna get burnt out. So make sure that you are taking those days, away from studying to, self-care days. And it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm gonna get my, for the girlies, I'm just go get my nails done because that lasts for what, an hour? Like,
And it's not always fun.
yeah, it's not always fun. Sometimes it's painful. They be digging the needle a little too deep in my toe, and I walking out with a little bloody toe. So like, find something. Like, there's always different things you can do. I started top golfing, and I eventually went on an actual golf course with one of my preceptors in clinical year. I went out there. There was an invitational golf event, so it was pretty cool. Just go explore the town. We've gone out to bars. We've gone out to lounges. We've gone to rooftops. We've gone. I've gone axe throwing several times.
Well,
Um,
you love doing stuff to get steam off.
yeah, just gotta blow it out. But there's a lot of things you can do, and even if and doesn't mean that you have to spend money. Like, just go hang out with friends, go to the park, have a picnic, sit at the house, talk, chit chat, have a game night, vent to each other because you're gonna vent. You're gonna need to vent. Like, there's not a single person who's done gone through professional school that didn't need to vent. If they didn't have to vent, I need to talk to them because I need to learn something.
Girl, no. If they didn't vent, you need to talk to them to see if they need to vent.
No, I'm gonna recommend them to a therapist. Like, not really.
Girl, yes. Recommend them to a good therapist because, honey, they kept all of that in
Yeah,
for
there
that long?
there's no way
Wow.
that they just didn't need to vent
That anger
for
is bottled
anything.
up.
Yeah, it's not the
My
way to it's not the way to go on.
But I love that you had, like, a school life balance because
Yeah.
I did I didn't. I was locked down. But most of the
Mhm.
time, we did have our times where we would, come in the living room, talk to each other. We would have our nights where we would watch TV together, our dedicated nights to do that. But
Mhm.
it was times where I would be in my room and I would hear y'all laughing and having a good time, and I would
Oh,
stand up, go to the door, and I'd be like, "Keisha, you gotta study."
oh, really bring the conversation right there to the hallway. So we're all sitting at the doors, at the threshold of our doors, and we're just looking at each other, just laughing and talking. The next thing you know, we laying down and talking.
I'm like, "You gotta study," but I'm so glad, like and I love this about my podcast is because I have people who they had to buckle down, they had to, shut out all the outside noise.
Mhm.
And then I have people, they live their life like it was golden. And
Mhm.
you have a balance of that. Yes, school was hard, but but because y'all had found community with one another, that
Yeah.
y'all utilized the time that y'all didn't have in class, and that when y'all weren't studying to make sure that y'all were taking care of yourselves.
Right. And that was hard because at first I wasn't, and
Mhm.
I had a moment, and you know, Nisi and the other girls, like, they were all telling me, it's like, Meeks, like, you need to have some fun. So it's good to have accountability partners. Like, they kept
Mhm.
me accountable in different ways. Not only just, well, we kept each other accountable in different ways. Not only just, studying, but also to make sure that we're giving those days off, making sure that we're treating ourselves. So we were making sure that we were getting the best out of the entire experience, not just being in school and getting, good grades and making sure that we're learning, but also making sure that we're enjoying our time, in the city. So,
In the city.
Liddy and the city.
And you went to a HBCU so you could have that experience as well.
Yeah.
So while the rest of your experience didn't look the best, you
Mhm.
still were able to create community with other people who look like you, doing
Mhm.
the same things as you. And I can say you found like really good people.
Yeah, you met a few of them, huh?
Mhm, mhm, they
Yeah.
some good people. And I know about people.
Yeah, you be knowing. Keisha don't know.
I be knowing, I be peeping, and they are really good people, very supportive. And that's what you have to find. And if you find a good friend like that, even if, say for instance, one of my best friends in nursing school, we didn't end
Mhm.
up graduating together. We actually ended up, after our first semester, I ended up falling out and not passing a class, and she moved on. And then she ended up falling out. We ended up meeting each other back. We were like, well, we'll just take this class together since we both failed. So we ended up taking an African American studies course together. Still weren't together anymore. I ended up graduating before her actually, and we still continue our friendship because it was just that important to us.
Mhm.
Most of the time we leave those friendships behind.
Nah, like that's good. You step beside it.
Yeah, we got and just because y'all's paths don't align anymore,
Right.
like their journey is way different than yours. You're not in the same classes. You don't have the same struggles right now. That doesn't
Mhm.
mean that you can't be friends.
Right.
So when you
Right.
find community and you find good people, you hold on to them.
Yeah, for sure. I have friends from when I was coming up back at home. I can't remember when I said coming up like I was an older person, but I just can't
Girl,
remember
you
what grade. I think we met in
Sure.
like middle school or elementary. But it was nice. It was just nice being able to finally be able to bring all my people together because I have, people that I'm close with from different chapters of my life, from growing up to undergrad to when I was just like working in EMS, and then also now, well, when I was in PA school, and then my family, of course. So that
Mhm.
was actually the first night. Graduation was the first, let's say, occasion that I was able to gather like my
Everybody.
family and my friends from different chapters of my life, and y'all meet each other, and it was beautiful. It was real beautiful. Like
I'm
I
a
was
crier.
I was in the lounge about to cry, but
I'm a crier.
so yeah,
Yes, like it was a very beautiful moment. And I love when people can share their friends.
yeah,
Like you don't have to separate your friend groups or be
right,
like, I can't have this person around this person because they don't like people, or you know, you really created a community of people who are really good and genuine. Because
hmm,
girl, when I tell you we got on the road, your friends from Valdosta got on the road, and I had already known them. Then we got on the road, and look, people got on some flights.
yeah. I'm I'm supposed to be asleep, knowing that I gotta get my butt up and be at the schoolhouse at 7 o'clock. I'm up 2 o'clock in the morning. I see Nuke and Kia on the road. I said, what are they doing on the road at 2, 3 o'clock? I said, let me know when
She's
y'all
like,
make it. But it like even though I was worried because it was a late night and
"Mm,
they did work, but it it really moved me, because I was already feeling the love. Like people were making sacrifices just to be there for me, on my big day, and I really do appreciate all of y'all for for coming out and supporting. But
it's never a problem, okay? If we gotta get on the road, we're gonna get on the road. But all in all, I'm glad that because this is the end of the episode, but I also want to hit on how you how did you study for your PA exam?
How did I study for my PA exam? So I created a schedule.
Mhm.
Um, it was it was more of a to-do list, but it was a schedule by the date. I can't do like by the hour, like, oh, you do this, by
Mhm.
the hour. But some people do. But I just made sure I took my breaks. So I set my days for studying basically like it was a full-time job. So let's just say, it's a 7-day week, but I would study 4 to 5 days out the week. A lot of jobs you typically work 4 to 5 days out the week, unless your job requires more. I would start studying somewhere between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., and then I would stop between like 5 and 7. But there's also, it just depends on what all I have going on that day because I was still in meetings. I was still, doing different things. I was taking breaks. I was running errands in between too during breaks. So I wasn't just sitting there studying that entire time. But mostly I was studying from like 9 to 5 or 9 to 4 or like 10 to 5 or 10 to 6. Um, and the different resources that I used was, again, let me say this. I'm not a representative, I'm not an ambassador, I'm not any of this for
Mhm.
any of these people or companies. But I used Dwayne Williams Pants Prep Pearls, I used Smarty Pants, I used Cram the Pants, I used U World. And a lot of these I was already using during didactic and clinical year. So it wasn't really like too much new information. Some things, you don't remember, but that's why you study.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I would, you know, select those days and study. If I woke up, I made sure that I gave myself like some extra days as well. Like, so in case I didn't get things done that week, I had a day where I could like, catch up. So for instance, if I was to wake up one day and if I just really couldn't study or I didn't feel well, I was okay with resting because I wasn't on a strict schedule. I mean, I had a date set, but I wasn't on a strict schedule that one day was going to mess me up completely. Um, so, I would listen to Crown the Pants and read through Pants Pearls. I would recite things with Crown the Pants as well. If there were things that I needed to be broken down and in a simpler form, I would go to Smarty Pants. In all three of those resources, there are mnemonics that's offered, and sometimes there are mnemonics that didn't work for me, so I had to create my own. But it's okay because when you create your own, it sit with you better. And then practice questions. I did a whole lot of practice questions. Uh, did practice questions every day. Did focus practice questions, did mixed practice questions. When I say focus, I mean based on the system or based on what you reviewed for the day. So, for instance, if I'm studying cardiology today and or this week, and I did, I guess, murmurs, those are my focus questions, murmurs. But let's just say if I did cardio this week and I did palm last week and GI the week before, my mixed questions will consist of everything that I've covered from the moment I started studying to till this day. So doing those mixed questions, it kind of helps your brain and your mind like flow and basically thinking fast on your feet, and then also timing myself while doing these practice questions as well. Because when you're taking the pants, unless you have accommodations while taking the pants question, you have about a minute to answer it. Basically, to stay on top of things because
Mhm.
each session, every 60 questions, you get 60 minutes. So, but yeah, that's
How
how.
long was that test?
Ooh, I think it was like 6 hours.
Y'all.
I think it was somewhere between 5 to 6 hours. I was starting to
I
get
thought it was 8.
no,
A whole work shift
I was
at
starting
the
to
testing
get
center.
a little, not anxious, but I had that momentum, and I was like, I don't need this full break. So I
Mhm.
took my breaks, but I didn't take the full break. So I would just do enough. I get up when it's time for my break. I get up. I go take a sip of water. Go use the bathroom. Go talk to myself in the mirror like Issa Rae, and then I go back and sit down.
You got this.
Right. So I was trying to get through it myself. The exam was from like 8. I think it was supposed to be like from 8 to 2,
Mhm.
but I ended up walking out like a little bit before. I mean, a little bit after 1 o'clock, um, because I shortened my breaks. So
Okay. Okay, so because we are at the end, Shameka,
yes.
what advice would you offer to new PA students coming in?
All right. Let's start off with finances.
Mhm.
Budget your money. Make sure you're able to afford what you're going to spend it on. Save, because you never know when there's going to be a rainy day. You never know if that refund check is going to come through when you
Mhm.
need it to come through. There's bills to be paid, and there's car maintenance, and you have to eat.
Yes.
So make sure you save your money. If you have a support system, hopefully you do, but if you have a support system, this is usually family. If you need an extra bit of cash, ask them. Ask them, it's all good. When it comes to food, I didn't do this, but apply for food stamps. That's one of my biggest regrets. I should have applied for food stamps. Do that. Get, there are gonna be some people that you click with really well. And not just saying like you're forming a click, but it's people that's gonna get you, people that are like minded as you, people that move the same way that you move, that study the same way you study, or that just understand you. Get with those people, keep them close. But also talk to other people. Share your resources across your entire cohort, because nobody should be left behind. This is not a competition. Everybody's trying to get in and get out. Everybody's trying to get what they're trying to get. Um, Enjoy yourself. Study hard. Play hard. Meet people. Network. Take all the opportunities, whether it's opportunities given by your program, by your preceptors. Take it. If it's offered, take it. Don't miss the free lunches and clinicals, because the drug reps come with free lunches.
They
Don't
do.
miss it. But yeah, just you know, and don't be too hard on yourself. It's going to be an adjustment, and know that you're adjusting. Give yourself some grace. That's what we have to remember to tell ourselves all the time. Like, we have to give ourselves like some grace, because it was hard getting there. It's even harder to stay.
Mhm.
And what my preceptors have told me, they say if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yes.
It's not easy, but you have to really put your mind to it, and be ready to step forward when you need to step forward. But you got this.
Yes. Shameka, I just want to say that you are truly an inspiration, not only to me, but to everybody who sees your journey or who hears your journey. You have done the things that you needed to do, and now you're going into the workforce as a PA. C,
Yep. Yes.
not S. And I truly do appreciate you for coming on to the podcast. Is there any one thing that you would like to say that would bridge the gap between nurses and PAs?
That will bridge the gap.
So, because this is a new series, I'll explain
Mm-hmm.
it. When I say bridging the gap, It basically means that taking the stigma away from each party so that they can be able to better serve their patients. So
Okay.
basically, you know how we have negative connotations about one
Mhm.
another's profession.
Mhm.
Not us in particular, because we understand and we kind of put ourselves in each other's shoes. So
Mhm.
when I'm at work, I put myself in the shoes of the people on the floor. So I know not to call them right before or call or just take a patient up to the floor and not say anything. I kind of understand what they have going on, but that's only because I used to work on the floor.
Mhm. Okay.
And I feel like it's some ways that we need to destigmatize one another's profession so that we can better serve our patients. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, and basically, what you just said, like we have to realize that it's not about us, it's
Mhm,
about the patients. We have the same goal. It's for our patients to live have a better quality at life,
mhm,
and to just know that all of our positions are very important. And I say it all the time, like nurses, in my opinion, nurses are the backbone of healthcare, because where would any of us be without nurses? Um, so, just respect each other, help support each other, continue to encourage each other, because we're a team. And healthcare is really intense out there, and there's no reason we should be at each other's necks while we're
mhm.
already dealing with something as intense, and also taking care of someone's family member, because we don't want any of that to affect our patient care, because that'll get real. That's real bad.
Yes. So, like you heard her say, healthcare is something that we have to work as a team. It's inevitable that we do this without the work of others.
Right.
So, we always have to respect one another and we will bridge the gap. At this point, this is the end of the episode. I would like to say if you made it this far, thank you for listening. I hope that if you're on your journey to PA school, that even if it's not linear, that you don't give up on yourself, because it may seem like it's not there. But I'm sure if you look across the Himalayas, across the mountains, all the obstacles, all the failed courses, all the things that you think that are going to hold you back, there's one nugget there that you're not seeing, that if you go past the obstacles, you may find that and you'll end up a PAC like Shameka. If you have any questions, you can email us at theevolvednurse@gmail.com. Also, you can follow us at the Evolved Nurse on Instagram, and you can join our Facebook community group, Evolving Nurse. With that being said, I hope you all have a great day. And we would all like to thank Shameka for coming on to the podcast again, because she didn't have to do it, but she did.
Well,
And
thank
bye.
you for having me, and I'll be back after I get some time under my belt practicing.
Yes. All right, y'all have a great day.
Bye.